live here again. Let me just make sure everybody.
There we go. I got the live stream to pop up here.
It? All right, we're dialed in here. All right, let me just mute everybody, and then we're going to open this up at the end. But I definitely wanted to welcome everybody to whatever edition we are here at the Loan Officer Academy. The whole idea behind this group is we want to bring in the best loan officers around to share easy tools that you can implement right away into your business to start helping you grow your business. So we've had some amazing speakers come on so far. And today, we have Barb with us, who she will not disappoint. And before I get into my introduction of Barb, let me tell you, just remind everybody that my calls on Monday, right? When you're isolated and you're making your calls by yourself, I created this, it's a Zoom where we all get together on every Monday at 9:30, except for this last Monday. Sorry, guys, I was coming home from Disneyland, where we make our realtor calls, whether you're making to your existing realtors or whether you're calling new realtors. Please join us there, because there's power in proximity is power. When you're with people that are making the calls, it's so much easier to make them versus by yourself and with no support there. So there's that. Also, we're coming up with a 12-week realtor challenge. It's either going to be 10 or 12. Some stuff's going to come out on that. That's going to be focused on gaining new realtor relationships through the use of cold calling and emailing and texting and stuff. But please, that's one small part of the business, right? That is an avenue. We've had many people talk about education. And today, I'm so excited to have Barb with Pathway Mortgages, as she's going to share with us her strategies for using Lunch and Learn. So Barbara, welcome to the group.
Great. Thanks. I'm glad to be here. Glad you had me. I'm glad to see people here too, because we all know last year was a challenging year. So if we're all still here, that's a good thing. Totally. I expect just better from here on out. So thanks for having me here today, Paul. Do you want me to just roll right in, or?
Yeah, sure. We'll take a little, take a moment here just to introduce a little bit more about you. So just What I love about you is that you, like me, work with your husband. And a lot of people, always ask me and Danielle, what's it like working with your spouse, being around them all the time? What's it like being around Franco, who's an amazing guy?
Horrible. He is an amazing guy. And it's been 17 years for us working together.
Wow.
The great, first of all, you don't have to be a husband and wife team to be successful out there. Sure. The great thing for us is there are things that he's really good at, things that I'm really good at, things that we're both not good at. And we really make one great person together. And most of the time it's puppies and rainbows, and some days it's not. So yeah. But overall, great partnership.
That's true, because I got to tell you, the one thing about Danielle, so you should write strengths and weaknesses. I'm completely opposite of her. But one thing it is when we, working with your spouse, there's nobody that cares as much as she does, right? Then, your spouse, because the outcome's my outcome's her outcome. So there's a lot of power in that. And I will say this about Danielle, she's always the boss. And I remember the first time we went to go, our first interview, and this is no kidding. I walked in as her being my assistant. She came out being the manager and being the boss. So she always teases me about that.
Yeah. Smart man, Paul. Smart
there it is. So you guys have created.
We've had a great time working together.
Oh yeah. So you guys created an amazing business, and a part of it you mentioned, among many things that you do, is through Lunch and Learns.
Yes.
Right. So, tell me, when was the first time? Why did you start doing Lunch and Learns?
Well, we used to do them all the time way back when. Probably 10 years ago now. We did them every month. We called them the Top Producer Agent Academy.
That's awesome.
If you don't already know this, you can actually just make up names for things that are catchy. Totally. And we'll talk about some of those today as we go through this, but we called it Top Producer Agent Academy. And we used to do them every month like clockwork for, I think, 7 years. And then we started the brokerage 4 years ago. We got a little bit in the weeds of getting everything up and running. Then we got busy with purchases and refinances and kind of got away from some of those, fundamental practices that were bringing us business. And then last September, August, September, we got back into doing some of those things that we all know we need to be doing. And in particular, the lunch and learn events have been very successful. So
back to the basics. I can tell you after that refi boom, we all got out of the basics because it was so easy. Just your phone rang and
yes, couldn't keep up with the phone calls. So
that's it. Now,
and I think, I think the other thing too, the lunch and learns have become a lot more relevant for the realtors as well, because they're in a market shift just like we are, and they're looking for guidance and inspiration and strategies. And so I think the timing was good to really kick that back in and start doing that again, because our agents are looking for, you guys are on this call today, but they're also looking for these opportunities where they can get new ideas and tips where they can go out and sell more and do more. Absolutely. So good timing for that to start up again.
It's 100%. I will say this. So I've been doing this 15 years. I work with a lot of realtors. You'd be surprised. Very few realtors know very little about loans.
Yes.
I mean, some of our top realtors that we work with, some of their questions, I don't want to say like amaze me, like, wow, how could you not know that? But they really, I think we give them too much credit on how much they know. And so, when we brainstorm about things we can teach them, I think we tend to overthink it. I tend to overthink it. I'll think about me. Is that your experience as well?
Yes, I would agree with that. And I have a running joke in general, not just specific to realtors, but math is hard for most people.
Yeah.
So for our borrowers, for our realtors we work with, so simplifying that and breaking it down so they take the most relevant pieces and work with them. They don't have to know all the loan knowledge, but if they know a few key things out there that can help them, get one more person qualified or get one more listing ready to go. That's our job, is to help them put more business on their books as well.
Absolutely. Give them talking points, all that stuff. That's good stuff. Okay. So tell me, lunch and learns. So we talked about, where do you want to start? You want to start with how to name it? You want to start, this is your show. You're the professional. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I think so. As I came onto this call, what I was thinking about, and this is what I would tell the agents, when we have these sessions as well, and I'll tell the loan officers that there's a lot of stuff out there, and Paul mentioned some of it that you can be doing, texting and video and this and that. So what I would encourage all of you to do, which is what I encourage my agents to do as well, is pick 5 things, and do them consistently for the next 6 months. And if you do that, you will do more business. And if your agents do that, they will do more business. So it's really easy to go, oh, I need to do this thing and I need to do this thing, but pick 5 and do them consistently. And this 12-week thing that Paul's talking about can be a great launching pad for that as well, because that gets you halfway through the 6 months.
Right.
So pick 5 things. Nobody wants to hear about mortgages. What they want to know is, how can they attract more buyers, attract more listings, and put more business on their books? That's really what they want to know. So that's our job, is how do we help them do that? All the other loan officers are sending out rate sheets and calling for a coffee appointment. And my agents are telling me they're just bombarded by loan officers all the time, but there's nothing interesting. There's no hook. There's no offer to help them. There's just, hey, I see that you're a good producer. I'd love to take you out for coffee. I mean, I don't take those calls from recruiters. So we've got to do something that's engaging and fun for our real estate agents that also gives them knowledge that they can do more business with. So I think the first thing is to get in that mindset. And you guys have a lot to offer. So if you think you don't, just get those thoughts out of your head right now. You really do have a lot to offer. And if you can get in the spot where, one-on-one is great, but if you can get in the spot where you can do one-to-many, even if it's only 8 people, right? I mean, target 50 or 75 or however many you want to have in the room. The other thing we need right now is way more exposure than we needed 2 years ago, right? My best producing agents are down in their production. And that means my production is down. My production of them is down. So then I've got to have a lot more of the onesie twosie agents who close a handful of deals a year than I used to need in a stronger market. So exposure is really important right now too, that you get exposed to a lot of agents and you start to cultivate those relationships with them.
Sorry, could you say that again? My
Oh,
Which part? Exposure?
no, I think that was Siri's. I think that was
Oh.
someone's Siri that went off.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay,
was-
Siri,
that was
see you
perfectly
later.
timed. Yeah.
Yeah, so exposure. So how do we set these events up? Well, you need to pick a venue. So find a local venue. We have a place here called Seasons 52. We reached out to several different ones. Try to keep your costs down on this. I'm also going to talk about how you can get sponsors to help offset that. Unless all of you are rolling in cash this year. Manage your costs, but also don't compromise your quality. Have a quality event, not in the back office somewhere where you wouldn't want to attend an event there. So there's a place here called Seasons 52, which is one of the places we reached out to. They aren't open in the morning. But the first one we did when we kicked this off last fall is we did mortgages and mimosas and talked about financing strategies for producing more business in this market. So they did a special thing for us in the morning and they opened. We had a 9:30 to 11 event. They charged us like $600. They brought the mimosas and the little breakfast goodies and things in. And who's not going to come for a mimosa, right? So we advertise that way and agents are like, oh yeah, I'll come for a mimosa. So again, that fun, engaging, give them a reason to be there. So we did the first one with that and we talked about, strategies for a shifting market, how to win more business. Okay. So in that event, we talked about the 2-1 buy down. That's what the primary topic was, right? But if you advertise a 2-1 buy down, most people, the realtors are know more about what that is now, but they're not going to go, oh, yay, sign me up for the 2-1 buy down.
Right.
But if you talk about strategies to win more business in this market and you're going to serve mimosas there, they're going to come, a lot of them. So pick a great topic that's catchy and fun and engaging that you would want to attend. Pick a great venue. Get a couple sponsors if you can.
Right. Your
title companies. We're an attorney state here, so we worked with one of our attorneys. Insurance, home inspectors, appraisers, etc. The last one we did last month, we did a noon session this time, and they charged us $500. We had 2 sponsors at $250 each, and then we paid the taxes, which were like $60 or something. So we held an event with 32 realtors there for $60. Awesome. So approach it that way, get sponsors. You have to keep it fun and engaging and entertaining.
Right.
You've got to open with a joke. Okay, I'm not really very funny, so that's my joke. When I open the event, I just tell people, hey, look, when Franco does these, he's really funny. When I do them, I'm really not that funny. So if you guys hear something remotely funny, please clap and cheer for me.
That's awesome.
So then everybody laughs, and then later on, they're like clapping and cheering. So you got to get them in that mode. And usually we start them out too, which I thought about doing on this call, Paul. You'll know this one because it's a Tony Robbins favorite where, Brian Agosti, start you out doing this.
Yeah.
So that's how we start the event. We have all the agents stand up. We have them do that running thing on both legs. They're laughing. They're, getting their guard down a little bit. Their blood's pumping so they don't fall asleep as you start your event. So that's how we start that. So venue, sponsors if you can, topic. Here are some ideas on topics. I said one of them already, strategies to win more business in a shifting market.
Okay.
How about video? Who needs to be doing more video?
Videos, yeah, totally.
Video. The one last month was, I don't know how old all of you are in here, but we changed it to video made the real estate star instead of video killed the radio star. Right? Video made the real estate star.
That's awesome.
Okay, we featured 2 local agents who are doing great stuff with video and had them talk for a few minutes. So that takes the pressure off you to have to do all the talking. Right. Featured 2 agents that have really good success with YouTube channel and one that's doing local videos with local restaurants and things like that and has a really good following with one of his Facebook pages. So we featured a couple agents, actually taught everybody and made them do the steps with me while we were there in the event about how to do an Instagram reel.
Right.
And some of them are actually doing it. I saw somebody yesterday post her first one. So video made the real estate star. We did rates, real estate in recession.
Okay.
Okay, that's an interest. That is going to pique people's interest. That's Barry Habib's presentation.
Yep.
If you have MBS Highway, you just go in there and get his presentation, study it, talk it through with people. That's a really important one to help ground people in what the data is saying, because there's a lot of negative headlines out there about housing crash and housing bubble. And that was a great one. People really liked that one a lot.
Hey, Barb, before we, can I stop for one second? I think you should see my notes. Can you see my notes? Oh no, my back thing. I have a million notes here because there's so much amazing stuff. Do you mind if I just go back just a little bit?
No, go ahead.
So we started off by talking, and I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, that, realtors truly don't understand.
No.
And so one of the things that you mentioned here is you started off by talking about mortgage and mimosas, and you talked about you had a whole event on 2-1 buy downs.
Yeah.
And if I was listening to this, I would probably think to myself, God, what's everybody knows about 2-1 buy downs. Yes, I have to tell you, I want to challenge that line of thought, people. They only care once they are actually having a deal that's there, that you'd be surprised. Let me rephrase that. You'd be surprised how many times I've talked about it with my realtors. And then once they have something that they're actually doing a 2-1 buy down, they call me, and now they start paying attention because now it's important to them.
Yes.
Right. And so by bringing the mimosas and bringing people in and really explaining the 2-1 buy down, trust me, they do not know what a 2-1 buy down is still to this day. Maybe
they don't. And the angle we also took was with their listings, right? Because listings are moving slower.
Yes.
And we did, what's better for the seller, taking a $20,000 price reduction or a $10,000 2-1 buy down?
Right.
And so we made this up. We came up with what's called the Flex Cash program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And we worked with our agents to put in their listing remarks, seller offering flex cash money of X dollars. And then they would get phone calls, right? Our agents would get, well, what is this flex cash thing that your seller is offering? And so then they could talk to the buyer, because the buyers don't know either. And if the agent doesn't know, buyer's agent. So we created this flex cash program.
Yeah.
And we worked with our agents to list it in their listings that way. And then they could bring up the topic to the buyer of the 2-1 buy down as well as an incentive to purchase the house. Again, just another made up.
Barb, I hope people are listening to this. This is so key. I swear this is so. There's a 1-year buy down, right? And I had some realtors call me up and they go, oh my God, Paul, there's this amazing new program out there. It's called Easy Start Program. And they're doing this and they're doing that. And I looked at them, well, that's just a 1-year buy down. And they're like, oh, right. So by giving things catchy phrases like that, there's so much power to it, Barb. I think that's brilliant. And I think if people get one thing off of this so far is just having those catchy phrases that realtors can go out and spread that energy to their buyers and to their community. Believe me, we started our own Easy Start program, which is just a 1-year buy down, and we get a lot of calls and a lot of excitement off of it. I don't want to say it's hilarious.
No.
But it's hilarious.
It's funny. Yeah.
Right.
Cash.
The flex cash. Is that what you called it?
Flex cash. Yep.
That's awesome.
Seller offering $10,000 flex cash.
So I think so what you're saying to us is that don't overthink this. Realtors do not know the basic stuff. They don't know what a 2-1 buy down is. They don't know what bridge. I mean, there's so many topics out there that you could do.
Yes.
And to bring them in and feed them mimosas is really powerful. I really do want to also ask you, so you mentioned like co-sponsoring, which is brilliant, because my first thought when you said $600 was like, wow, a lot of people couldn't afford the $600. Right. So tell me a little bit more about like the sponsorships, why they would do it, why, you know what I mean? And how you'd even reached out to some of those people.
Yes. So, and this is important that you set it up well for the sponsor. So they get the opportunity to connect and meet the agents. And so of course they come early. They get to mix and mingle as people are coming in the room, and stand there with us as we check people in and talk. They get to put all their business information out on the tables. At the end of we're going to talk about my survey here in a little bit.
Oh,
At the
that's got to be
end-
last. The last.
Yeah. At the end, one of the things we ask in the survey is that they give if they got value out of the session today, that they give the sponsors a chance to reach out and connect with them, because we wouldn't have had, and we give each of the sponsors like a couple minutes to talk about who they are and what they do, and why people might want to consider talking with them.
Right.
And then it's on our survey form, if they want to follow up from one of the sponsors, and then we share that with the sponsors as well. So they get real opportunity to connect directly with the agents as well, and have the opportunity to, same as we're trying to do, cultivate a relationship and open a new relationship with them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what are some of so you have insurance people, you mentioned home inspectors.
Mm-hmm. We're an attorney state here, so not title. So attorneys do our closings here. So attorney, home warranty.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't had an appraiser yet. We certainly could call an appraiser. Stager.
Stager.
Right. And they get the opportunity to come and meet, anywhere from 30 to 45 agents that they may not have worked with before.
So yeah, like a videographer, would that be someone, right?
Yeah, that might be a good one. I hadn't thought of that.
So you're saying that you're getting about 35 to 40 agents at these events.
Yes.
That's huge. Okay.
That takes work. We can talk about that too.
They
don't just show up.
No, and then they say yes in the morning and they don't show in the afternoon. It's crazy.
They don't show. That's right. There's
So
about a 30% drop off from RSVPs pretty consistently.
30% drop off. So let's do that. Let's talk about that, because I also want to make sure I don't forget anything here. So let's talk about your process leading up to the event.
Hey, Paul, she was giving us 5 topics and she hit 4. Can we get that 5th one before we jump?
Sure. Well, we're going to hit topics. We're going to go over a lot of topics. But if
Okay.
you remember the 5th topic, go ahead, Barb.
I'm looking at my little note sheet I put together here. I don't.
Dude, what great notes up there.
I mean, we've done, this one will be familiar
Right.
for you all, like greatness tracker and lead tracker if you've worked
Right.
with Boardall. And if you haven't, it's okay. You can still present the greatness tracker and the lead
Totally.
tracker,
Oh,
because
yeah.
everybody thinks they track their leads, and none of us track them well until we start doing that
Oh.
practice consistently.
I
So
mean,
that's, that could be about how to convert more buyers, how to convert more listings.
it's crazy because every realtor says they do. But when I ask
Every
them,
loan officer too.
that's true too. It's
Mhm.
like, who are your old leads? Well, I don't have any old leads. If you don't have any old leads, that implies you're converting 100% of the people.
Mhm.
Right. And that's just not the case. So
No.
that's a great one. All right, let's go back here. Let's go to the process. So about how far out in advance are you scheduling these lunch and learns?
We have the venue scheduled out. We've got several on the calendar with them right now, like probably
Mhm.
for the next 3 to 4 months. We really start marketing the event heavily about 4 weeks, in the 4 to 3 week range out, because
Okay.
I mean, we all have a short attention span. We can't pay attention
100%.
longer than that. Yeah. So phone calls, right? A lot of phone calls. And then once you've come up with your topic and your catchy name, you
Mhm.
need a script that you say to people when you call them, of course. And
Right.
then agents you work with already, ask them to invite other agents from their
Mhm.
office or from their circle that they know. So leverage your already existing relationships to get new relationships there.
Right.
So phone calls, relentless phone calls out there on your Monday mornings when you're doing these 9:30 things with Paul. Call your agents and invite them to your event.
Mhm.
Email invitations, and it's great to do a video like from the venue and say, hey, we're looking forward to see, especially if you're doing the video one, send some videos out if you're going to teach them about video.
Totally.
Hey, we're going to be here at Seasons 52. You aren't going to want to miss it. Here's the date. Get RSVP now. We have limited seats. We use Eventbrite for people to register.
Use Eventbrite.
Yep.
Okay. I do want to go back again to the script. The script has I think it's a great thing, right? But I want to, encourage people. The power of these phone calls is truly on what you say and how you say it. You know, for example, if you're just calling up realtors going, hey, I want to invite you to this 2-1 buy down. Hope you can make it. It's going to be great. You should come, right? I mean, I wouldn't go, right?
Yeah.
But if you call up with a lot of energy and call it mimosa, you know, mortgage and mimosas, get excited about how they're going to get new, new tools to build their business. You know what I mean? One of the lines that I used to, I want to call it lines. I really mean this, is that I would always say, I want to personally invite you, right? I would love to meet you. This is going to be an amazing event. It won't be the same without you. And those calls are so important, you guys. Well, that's probably for another webinar, but by having an event, you have 3 to 4 weeks to make a phone call to somebody with value to add to them. Make sure it counts. That's all I want to say on that.
And the other thing I'll do too, Paul, is when I have them on the phone, I'll tell them I will register you.
Ooh.
Right. I'll just register you right now. Okay.
Right.
And that way they don't have to lose the link in their email and forget to fill it out and forget to put it on their calendar. You just say, look, I will make it easy on you. I'll just get you registered right now. And then the link will come in the email. So you have the event details. And most of them say, okay, great.
Yeah, totally.
So try to take that action for them if you have them on the call with you, because then they're in the commitment and you don't have to wait for them to RSVP and try to follow up with them and get them to RSVP.
Okay. Now, do you do any like social media, like advertising or anything like that?
Yes. So if you're not familiar with Canva, I wasn't either at the middle of last year. Canva, CANVA, is amazing. You can become the best graphics artist in about 4 minutes in Canva.
I love it.
So yes, so we'll create a little Canva and then put the link in with Instagram, Facebook. We have a texting software in our CRM as well. So we'll text out and we'll have the link to the Eventbrite in there.
Nice.
Well, something I was going to say on that. And we'll text a video out as well. So we will use all the avenues, a Facebook invite, the graphics on social media, text invite, but phone calls are the most important.
Absolutely.
Like you said, when you get up, I want to personally invite you to the event. I don't want you to just get a text from me, but with your, texting and emailing too, you can reach a broader base. I mean, I had an agent who responded saying, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you sent this out. I was on the listing side from you last year.
Yep.
I kind of forgot about you. But I have a buyer right now that's looking for a lender. I literally had a referral from sending that. That doesn't happen all the time, but it happened from sending that invitation out via email.
Absolutely.
Okay, don't feel bad when people unsubscribe and when they push stop on the text messages.
Yeah.
Keep sending them out. There's 13,000 realtors here in the area. They aren't all going to love me or work with me, but there's a whole thousands more that I haven't ever worked with.
My buddy unsubscribed. I almost called him up and like, dude, we're no longer friends. You can't unsubscribe to my videos. Now it's true though. You guys, it's going to happen. That's awesome. So use Eventbrite. Some people are just going straight to link excuse me. Oh wait, you're not doing Zooms. You're doing live. So never mind.
Live. Yes.
Right, okay. All right. So we're leading up to it. About 3 to 4 weeks, social media, you're calling people. And I'm just going to tell you, everybody, I would probably call at least 200 to 300 realtors. This is an opportunity to call them without asking anything from them, show a lot of excitement, and hopefully get them. Some of my best referral partners, I met them through one of my lunch and learns, period. There's tons of power in this. All right, so you have a venue, you have sponsors now. How do you approach the sponsors? Just curious. I mean,
we know them personally. So I call up and say, hey, same kind of invitation you're making to the real estate agents with excitement. We've got this, we promise you the opportunity to be able to meet with some of these realtors and get to know them. And then we didn't want to have one person, take the whole $500 sponsorship.
Right.
So that's why we did 2 sponsors. That gives enough time to talk. So you don't want 7 sponsors because you can't showcase them.
Right.
But 2 was a good. So just call up and invite. And they're, they're in the same position we are. They're all working to have more business with the market being off from what it has been.
So what you do is if your cost is $600, you basically divide that into 3, you get 2 sponsors and you guys, is that kind of how it works?
We did, the last one we did, since we changed from morning to the noon session, they aren't charging us as much, which is kind of strange, but I guess because they don't have to bring their crew in ahead of time. So the last one was 500, and then I think it ended up being 560 with the tax. So we just split it 250, and they each paid 250, and then we had the $60 left.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Angela, I see your question up there. Trust me, we're going to get to that. She has some questions about that. Okay. So let's go through topics real quick.
Okay.
And everybody, this is a group thing. If you guys can put into comments what you think would be a great topic is, because the idea is that we all learn together.
Oops. Uh-oh, Paul.
What happened? I can hear you.
Yeah. I was going to move so I could see the comments here. Okay.
Oh, so we have mortgage and mimosas, right? Which is awesome. What other ones have you done?
Rates, real estate, and recession.
Rates. I'm gonna write this in the comments so I can.
Yeah, that was the Barry Habib presentation.
Right. If you're not subscribed to Barry Habib, you guys, it's crazy. He gives out so much great information that I take on a daily, weekly basis. I take it and I give it to realtors, and they think I am like this expert in economy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes. Yes.
All right, rates.
Well, and when I did the, I don't want to, you don't have to do this. So let me say that first. When I did back to Canva, when I did the 2-1 buy down, I did a little bit more than that. I talked about, growing yourself and growing your business and some strategies there to reevaluate their business practices. So that was the first half of the session. And then we worked on the buy downs after that. But I actually created a magazine in Canva. And then it talked about the Flex Cash program, and it actually stepped them through exactly how to do it and exactly what the math was.
That is awesome.
So they got to take that away with them, and then they got to show it to their buyers or show it to their listing prospects as well. And you don't have to do a magazine. You can do a PowerPoint printout. But
That's
some
so cool. I love that.
people like to take things away. So
Yeah.
and then I joked with them that I'm a magazine producer too, and everybody laughed. They thought that was funny. I do mortgages. I do this. I do this. I also produce magazines.
You're just, you're all around.
Canva. I took the PowerPoint. I dropped it in Canva, moved some things around, sent it to the printer. We printed 150 of them for,
Incredible.
I don't know, $300.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing. And what they get is so cool. I love that. I mean, it's just a little added touch. So we have rates, real estate, and recession. Forgive my spelling, you guys. I don't know why Barb has words I can't spell in here, like mimosas. I haven't spelled mimosa in a while.
That one's a tricky one.
Mortgages and mimosas.
Champagne. Oh, that's a hard one too. Rates, real estate, and recession. Video.
Right.
Video made the real estate star.
That's awesome.
And that's the main thing for people on that one is people they don't do video because they don't like how they sound or they don't like how they look.
Right.
But how do I sound to you? I sound like I sound, right?
Just like Barb.
And I look like that's it. So
Yeah.
I just told people, I said, I spent some time on TikTok one day.
Yeah.
And the garbage that people post on TikTok, I don't know what I was feeling bad about doing videos, you know?
Right.
So they just need to get over themselves.
Some people are courageous, aren't they?
That's the main message, is just to get them over doesn't have to be perfect. There's so much. Look at Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, the guy literally goes around to garage sales now looking for stuffed animals.
That's crazy.
And he has millions.
That's that Gary V guy, right?
Gary V.
So
yeah.
He mentioned, so Danielle actually is in one of his clips. I don't know, a reel or something.
Oh, yeah.
And he kind of made fun of her because we just adopted a child. And he's all, how many kids you have or something like that? She's all 4, no 5. And then he wrote this how do you not know how many kids you have? So it's pretty funny.
It's changing all the time.
But he was saying that you have to do 3 vid posts a day. It's
At least.
It's
And
crazy.
you might feel like that's a lot, but it really isn't. Really
Oh
isn't.
my God. All right. So let me get at least 5 topics here. So
Okay.
I'm having a brain freeze for myself here. So I do lunch and learns all the time, but I think mine aren't as catchy as yours. Mine's like, appraisal class. I got to
Well,
work on that part.
people are interested in that too.
Right.
So video rates, real estate recession, strategies to win more business in a shifting market.
Say that one more time. So I'm reading over here.
Strategies to
Okay.
win more business in a shifting market. I mean, who doesn't want to hear what that's going to
Oh
be
my
about?
God. Business in a shifting market. All right. What else you got here? I like
How to convert more buyers and more listings. That was the greatness tracker and lead tracker.
Yep.
How to convert more buyers and more listings.
Which, by the way, I should do that here for this group. I mean, this greatness tracker is absolutely amazing. It is like guaranteed. If you fill out the greatness tracker 100% every week, if you're not making close to $1 million a year, you're not doing it. You're lying.
Not actually doing it. Yeah.
You're just absolutely lying. What else? Here's one: stump the appraiser. I think that's kind of funny.
That's great. I like that one.
And I think, one of the things we actually did an appraisal class for, we sponsored it here. And what we did is we invited realtors to it. And I think what realtors want to know, sometimes appraisers go too deep, like into the classifications.
Yeah.
What they really want to know is the basics, like how to price, how they value, what they can say to people. When do we get an appraisal waiver? I can't tell you how many times.
Yeah.
They ask me, why can't I just get an appraisal waiver? Like, it's
My
something
lender does appraisal waivers. Do you do that?
Yeah, I love that. It's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So Mike Young, the tracker I just mentioned is called the greatness tracker. So it's awesome. We'll talk more about that on a different time, but I'd be happy to share that with you. It's absolutely incredible. Some of the topics I'm doing for my clients right now is I'm doing life insurance, trust insurance, not trust insurance, but trust, and stuff like that. Because what I'm finding, the more events I have buying second home and investment properties, did you know, per Barry Habib, that 1 out of every 6 transactions in the US, right? So maybe different in each category, is an investment property right now.
Wow.
I was floored by that. And so a lot of people are buying those properties, and there's a lunch and learn right there for realtors, because buying an investment property is so much different than somebody that's looking for their owner occupied home.
Right now, as we're all getting ready to file taxes, is a great time. You can bring a CPA in and have them talk. Realtors don't typically do a great job with their taxes. That's a great one. Tax strategies for maximizing, your whatever, not your taxable income. You don't want to maximize your taxable income, but something along those lines that CPA related.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think realtors know, you guys, that when they get this 1099, let's just say for let's just say $10,000, they go out and spend it. They don't know about half of that, or whatever state you're in. I'm in California, so about half of that is going to go to taxes. And if they don't know that, they don't have the strategy, they're going to be in trouble. So that is a tremendously useful class. And if you can combine that with like an investment class, planning for your future, I think that would be huge. That'd be a great one. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that one.
So non-QM, if you guys are doing non-QM out there, if you're not, you might want to, I didn't used to do non-QM, but then the market changed.
Yep, we're starting to.
Work bank statement loans, DSCR loans. We've got a 20% down, no income, no DTI option. I'm closing my 3rd one of those. And to give the realtors other avenues that might fit their buyer.
Right.
So those are great topics as well, and that'll have them thinking differently as they work with each client.
Okay, so I think we've given 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 topics that they can choose from. So that's awesome. So let's walk into, I'm going to save the best for last, which is your, what you do at the very end, the survey, right? How long typically are these classes?
Usually an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half. Okay.
And they always start about 15 minutes late because people are mingling in, and then we get, we do the warm up with everybody
So you literally do the warm up. I think I
Yeah.
saw that actually.
every
Did
time.
you do it or does Franco do it?
Yeah, we both have, but I think
No way.
because I take video and he doesn't. So when I do it, there's no video of me.
So just so you guys know what we're talking about at Tony Robbins, what you do is you get in the hunch position, running position, like you're ready to sprint. So you have your hand here, and then you have your left hand, the other hand on it's cheek to cheek. I don't know how else to say it, whatever, on your butt, right?
And like your left foot forward.
Yep, your left foot forward. And then what you do is you go, this is the greatest abdominal exercise known to man. You didn't know you were going to learn that here, did you? But this is true. And you just go back and forth as fast as you can for about, did you do it for a full minute?
No, we did like 30 seconds on each side. And then we just tell them faster, faster. And, then people are laughing and like it releases the tension of the room and gets to make sure people are awake. And
oh, it's the greatest. I swear to God, if you guys just trust us on this and do it, first of all, they change their state. So when you're going into a lunch and learn, it's like they don't know what to expect. The next thing you know, they're like pretending to race. And it creates a new vibe. It's absolutely amazing. And when you change their state, you can start changing their story, and you can start making an impactful, presentation. There was one other, I wanted to share this with you guys. I was breaking into a new market, and I can't remember his name for me. But what I did, there's this guy, and a lot of people will do this for you. You have to find your guy in your area. And if you're in Marin County or where I'm at, reach out to me. I'll find his name for you. He is a memory champion. And what he does is he teaches people how to remember names. It didn't work because I can't remember names that well, but that was the name of the class. And what this guy did, there was 40 people in this auditorium, and he went by and everyone said their name. Then he turned around, said everyone's name in order. Then he did it in reverse.
Wow.
The magical thing is he gave us 20 words, different words in a row. So I can't remember what they were. This was like 5 years ago.
This did not work on you, Paul.
No, this was 5 years ago though.
Yeah, okay.
But what happened was by the end of that class, we were all able to say those 20 words and then say them in reverse. And I'm telling you, that created first of all, it was so much fun. And it was a really great bonding experience because we started posting on each other's Facebook, the words and stuff like that. It was crazy, but it created just a different relationship, which led for me to, start talking about mortgages and stuff like that. Highly advised something like that. It was huge for me. I'm going to get his name. I'm going to send it to you. It's fun. So there's that.
See, there's a catchy name, right? The memory champion.
The memory champion. He truly is. He's the strangest guy though. He's so cool. I love that guy. All right. Let's talk about as you get towards the end here. So it's wrapping up. I got to tell you, I'm a victim of this. It's like when I wrap up, I'm like, okay, guys, hey, thank you for coming, blah, blah, blah. Hope to meet you or whatever. Take care. And then what happens? People just go, they're gone.
Yes. You got to close for the business. That's the whole point of having these events.
Yes.
Close for referrals right there and close for follow-up appointments.
I will tell you, to anyone that's doubting that, the top lenders that I've coached me, and now Barb is saying it, at the end, they're always asking for business. So go ahead, Barb. How do you do it?
So at the end, whether it's me or Franco, we say, I have a big ask, right? And that's a joke in itself, right? How does my ask look? I'm going to give you my big ask now.
That's
and
great.
So we hand out the survey. We ask them, we're going to do this together. I hold it up and say, right here at the top, you're going to write your name on it. I have this here. Let me see. Can I share?
How does my ask look? You're hilarious.
How does my ask look?
You want to share your screen? Is that what you're trying to do?
Keep it fun with people. I mean, I can just read it to people too. So you have them put their, write your name right here, right on the top of the survey. It says another boring survey with a smiley face. And then it says your name. So have them fill their name in. What was your biggest takeaway? Because what you want them thinking about, what can they leave here and do more of out there to do more business?
Yeah.
And then which animal is the biggest party animal? Panda or an ostrich?
Yeah.
Right. So just fun stuff like that.
Random, but go ahead.
Do you have a buyer, and you can put a check mark there, or a seller, and you can put a check mark there, coming up soon? right? So if they have a buyer or seller and they check that off, then you're going to call them and talk to them about that buyer and seller. It's great to talk to your agents about with their listings to get in as much as you can in that conversation before that seller goes and buys their next house, because you can talk to them about flex cash, and that gives you the opportunity to get, that's a little harder to do, but that gives you a good opportunity. This one was from when the Taylor Swift debacle was happening. So it said, were you able to get the Taylor Swift verification code? Can we purchase it from you? So just keeping some fun in there.
Yeah.
Would you like to find out more about Pathway Mortgage's buyer and seller programs? Would you like to have coffee? Now, my husband is a jokester, so he's got his name in giant letters like this. Would you like to have coffee with Franco, or my name like this big over there? Okay. We also do a video series here called Driving Real Estate. So we asked them if they were interested in being on our next Driving Real Estate episode. And then can we save a spot for you for next month's, whatever your topic is next month?
It's awesome.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's amazing. And you ask for the business. Does everybody fill them out?
Pretty much everybody fills them out. Pretty much everybody says they would meet with you. You know, not everybody has a buyer, has both a buyer and a listing coming up, but usually they've got at least one of those. Right. And then your job after that, like within 24 hours, no longer is to call and follow up with them. Thank them for attending. It was great to spend time with them there. Let's get a meeting scheduled. Let's talk about how you can implement these strategies and with your buyers and sellers coming up.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't on this one, but we've had on there, do you want us to come to your office and do a presentation? Because the idea is to leverage that to get into office meetings that they might be holding, even if they have an in-house lender.
Totally.
Yeah.
How do you, does that ever come up where they say, no, you can't come in because we have an in-house lender? I mean, have you found a way?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, that comes up. You know, the angle to take on that is just to do more of a, like if you're doing the video, you're doing video training. I'm not talking about mortgages. I'm talking about something all your agents need to be doing. We're doing video training. So if you approach it from that direction where you're not, and we've got a workbook for them that they can take away, that they could implement immediately. So, but yeah, you're going to run into times when you just can't get around that in-house lender conversation.
I know I always say to them, I invite them. I'd love to meet them. I mean, I care less.
Yeah.
At all.
Because they're not going to do what you're doing.
No, they're not. And I hope no one else. No, I shouldn't say that.
I mean, I was an in-house lender before, and I was adamant about, don't you bring another lender in here.
Yeah. I had one come into me and he's like, hey, can you come to my office on your way out? I'm all, sure. And he asked me never to come back in again. I thought that was very strange, but I'm like, all right, whatever, man.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. There's so many things here. I do have another question for you, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. This was amazing. How many events do you have planned out ahead?
We're doing them every other month right now.
Same place, the same location.
Years ago when we used to do them, we did them every month, and we found just, you know, that got a little bit stale, and we would kind of get the same realtors who want their lunch paid for.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels sometimes. Okay.
So we're doing them every other month now. We've got the next 3, at least on the books with seasons 52. And then we're doing some other things in between. We're going to do a happy hour next month where my husband bought a Porsche 2 years ago now, just a 2004. And I don't know, he's had a midlife crisis or something, but we've now financed a couple people from the Porsche dealership. And so when he was there getting a repair done on his car the other day, he talked to them about, hey, you know, could we host kind of a happy hour thing here and invite agents to it? And they said, well, we'll do one better than that. We'll bring 3 of our cars to your house. Wow. And so then we're going to do like a little appetizer, you know, see a Porsche event at our house. Who doesn't want to do that?
That is actually
they aren't going to charge us for it. Yeah. So things like that, like work in your local communities too, to do community events. And I've got a charity event coming up that I've been inviting my agents to just because I think they'll really like it.
Right.
And I'll also get the chance to see them there. So work in your local communities too, and kind of leverage some of those things. There's a wine store here in our local in Cary, and we did a kind of a wine event there where people could do a wine tasting. And
Right.
so things like that aren't expensive, that people find interesting, that they would want to come to, that's a little more casual, but that's not a class.
Right. That sounds amazing, actually. I love that Porsche idea. Now it kind of reminded me, there's this one group that there was a Maserati dealership in Santa Fe where I live. And
Yeah.
they actually held like a mixer there. And I rarely go to those things, but I was totally into that one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we don't have that scheduled yet, but we're working on getting the dates figured out for that. But yeah, I want to come to that.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, gang.
So here's another thing we do real quick, Paul, that this might not fit for everybody, but it might give you an idea. We hold, I'm married to an Italian, and we hold pasta making lesson dinners at our house. So we've had like our biggest agent teams over. It's a really great way to just spend good, fun time with people. We've done several of those, mostly with our big agent teams. So
That's awesome.
just another way and that's not expensive either. And if you don't know how to make pasta, just go on YouTube and you can watch a video and do it.
I mean, I would love to. I would actually attend a class if someone taught me how to make pasta or sushi. I would be all over. I think that would be so much fun. In fact, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a chef over to my house and invite some of my favorite people over and make sushi rolls or something like that. That'd be so amazing.
There was a new agent team I started working with last year, and I just wasn't getting much traction with them. And then it was hard to get a hold of the team lead agent. Like the other ones were talking to me, but
yeah.
So then I was like, I'm just going to invite them over, and I sent an email to all of them. Right. And so they started responding right away. Oh my gosh, this is amazing! And I gave them dates. Like I didn't say, when would this work for you? I said, I have these dates available. Which ones work?
Right.
And then I got them over, and my business picked up after that.
Absolutely.
Because we just got to spend like 2-3 hours with them, laughing and making pasta together and having a good time.
I'm telling everybody, Naomi, I see your comment, and we'll get to that in a second, is don't underestimate the power of creating a relationship with somebody. I had one of my best realtors. I love this guy, and we're really good friends. And I brought him to the Niner game with him and his brother, and we just had a great time. And leads really picked up for the next 2 weeks. I don't know why, but it's just
top of mind for him.
That's it.
Yeah.
So Amy, I'm sure Amy is not the only one that has this question. Content, right? A lot of times now I struggle with that too. It's like one of the benefits of having Danielle is I kind of give her all my craziness and she makes it look really nice and presentable, right?
Yeah.
I can't do that. What do you recommend for people that, that don't have the resources to get the slides for for Lunch and Learn? Sorry, I'm trying to think out loud. But Amy, one place you can go is to Barry a Beep site. There's tons of stuff there.
He's got a number of presentations, yes.
Tons.
And you don't have to make them complicated. Keep and even Barry's has a lot of data to absorb in it. So that particular one, we had to really keep people engaged because, you're going over statistics and numbers and
right.
So simpler is better.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, video's great. Like I said, you can feature a couple of people who do well in your market, and maybe it's somebody you haven't worked with that you can have come in and speak. But you can have a person, you can probably find someone at Fiverr who can do it for you.
Yeah.
Say, here's what I'm thinking.
So Fiverr,
PowerPoint.
So forgive me though, so Fiverr is a place where you can go and hire somebody. They bid on your project, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great website. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, you guys. Any other questions? I'm getting a lot of comments here, so I've been feeding them in, and I got to tell you, Barb, this has been absolutely amazing.
Good.
Let me see here. I think we went over everybody's questions. Promise you, I'm going to put together more events, because not only when I make my calls to my database, having something to invite them to strengthens the call, whether it be fun or something that they can learn from. And also myself, I am breaking into different counties in terms of real estate agents. That's why I'm doing a 12-week challenge as well. And I think I'm going to use the same strategies I used in Fairfield, is creating an amazing event to invite people to that's going to create a lot of talk. Give it a great name and give it a lot of power in my tone. So I really thank you, Barb. That's awesome for everything.
You are very welcome. And same as with when you guys start with your agents, you know, the question I would ask you, I can't see you guys, but raise your hand if you got at least one thing out of this event that can help you get another buyer or get another seller. And pretty much everybody raises their hands, which is hopefully what you guys would do today. So that's how you set up your big ask is, you know, raise your hand. Okay, I have a big ask.
You know, Barb, I'm going to do that real quick. Give me a second. I have a big ask, everybody. I don't know if you can see everybody. I can. You know, please raise your hand if you got at least one tool that can help you increase your business in 2023. Let's see who's paying attention. All right, we have 3, 4, 5. All right, we got 6.
You got some people
Thank you,
sleeping out
guys.
there.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think people are looking. That's awesome. Right on, you guys. Hey, I really appreciate that. So I have a favor to ask you. If you think this is beneficial, please, I'm going to post something for Barb. Please make a comment there, say how amazing she is. And then please invite somebody to our next webinar, which is going to be next Wednesday. All right, you guys, I really appreciate everyone's time. And unless there's no other questions, we're going to make this a wrap.
Hey, Paul, I have a quick question.
Ooh, you snuck in there. Sure.
Sorry, I was trying to sneak in before I didn't want to interrupt you.
That's wonderful.
So two-part question.
Sure.
Would it be possible, Barb, to get a copy of the, just, you know, electronic copy of the 2-1 buy down presentation that you put into the magazine for your realtors?
Yes, I can send that. Yep. I don't know how to get it to you. So I'll just send it to you.
Yep, I'll throw it in the group if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'd be awesome. And then last question is, I was just speaking with another lender about this. So in what situations, like if you're inviting, let's say somebody for like even mimosas, in what situations is it a RESPA violation in terms of, you know, giving them something to get leads?
I'm not a compliance attorney, so I hesitate to answer that, other than I know what I have been told, as long as it's an educational event, that should be fine.
Even if you're giving something for free, as long as there's
like
education.
I said, I would check with your compliance departments and see what they want you to be doing.
That's
Okay.
a tough
Okay.
one. Yeah, that's a tough one, Barb. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I probably wouldn't answer that either, because every company is going to be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean to be, I think
And,
that.
and I didn't mean to put you on the spot either. Somebody just brought up something to me that I hadn't really thought about.
Yes.
So now I'm kind of like, okay, this is I guess a bigger issue than maybe I was thinking.
Yeah.
So that's why I was curious what your take was.
Yeah, just run it by your compliance department. It's, you know, there's unfortunately just a lot of gray area in our world. I mean, it's probably not great.
Right.
But there's a lot of gray area in our world. So I would check with your compliance department.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. All right, you guys. I'm going to shut the recorder off, and that's a wrap. Hey, I really appreciate it, Barb. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you
I
for
can't tell
having me.
you like how much great